Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be going through all of the books that I read in 2021 in the order that I read them in. There's a mix of rereads and books that I just read for the first time this year. So any books that are rereads, I'm going to mark like this. And any books that are new won't have any markings, they're just new to me. So let's jump right in. The first book I read in 2021 was a reread, and it is The Way of Shadows by Brent. This is one of my all-time favorite books, and I usually reread either just this one or the whole series at least once a year, maybe every 2 years. So this was a reread, but I still very much enjoyed it this year. Next is A Complicated Kindness by Miriam. I really do enjoy this book. Now we're finally getting into some new books. So I read Breathe, Mama Breathe by Shonda Morales. Also, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce author names. I suck at pronouncing names. So this was very good. It has a lot of helpful tips on mindfulness and gratitude. So a very good read. I am going to be rereading this at some point, but yes, I very much enjoyed this. Next up, we have To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Poloni. This is one of my all-time favorite authors. He wrote the Aragon series, which is my all-time favorite books, and I was so excited to see another book from him. This was so good. Probably one of my top reads of 2021. I love it so much. Next, we have The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. This was a very good read. It is based on true stories. Actually, it kind of tells them in a novel way, but it is based on true stories. The girls in the book are real people, and this was a very, very thoughtful read. Next, we have Among the Beast and Briars by Ashley Poston. I really enjoyed this. It was very, very good, very fairy tale, and a good read. Next up, I read The Henna Artist by Ulka Josie. Again, I'm sorry, I know I mispronounced that one, but I don't know where the actual book went. I've moved and a lot of my books have disappeared into storage somewhere, but I really enjoyed The Henna Artist. It was a very good read, and yeah, unfortunately I don't have it here, but it was very good. Then we have, this was suggested to me, Axiom's End by Lindsay, Ellis, and I loved this so much. This was such a good read, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for more books by this author because I really loved the writing style as well. Next, we have a reread, which I have lost the dust jacket for a long time ago. This is The Host by Stephanie Meyer. And yes, I know that we're hating on Twilight, and Twilight is kind of having a resurgence. I do have the Twilight books. I did not read them again this year, but The Host, I really enjoy this book. I really, really enjoy this book. And apparently I have feathers in it. I thought there was a bug in here. There's feathers. Anyway, I enjoyed rereading this year. We have more rereads. These are rereads of books that I first read in end of public school, beginning of high school, sometime between the ages of 13 and 15. But we have Pretties, Specials, and Extras by Scott Westerfeld. I did not reread the first one in the series because I couldn't find it. But yeah, these were rereads. I still very much enjoy these books, and I enjoy the thinking behind them of why this world turns out the way it does. So, a good choice to reread. Another couple books that I reread, but I don't have the physical books here with me, are The Winsinger and Slaves of the Mastery by William Nicholson. Again, I think I put these in storage when we moved, but very good books. I enjoyed rereading them and just remembering them and remembering the first time I read them. Again, another reread, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This book was suggested to me by a friend a few years ago, and I read this one and the second one, loved them. I still enjoy rereading them. There's supposed to be a third one coming out at some point, and it still hasn't come out. So I really want to finish the series, but I can't. But Name of the Wind is a good book. I do recommend it, but be aware that it is a series that is unfinished. Next book I read in 2021 is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardwell. Again, I can't pronounce her name, but I watched the Netflix series of this, loved the series, so wanted to pick up the books. I've only read the first one so far. I will eventually buy the rest of the series, but it keeps going out of stock. So I'm trying to find the rest of them, but I really enjoyed this one anyway. And then, of course, in getting into book talk and seeing everybody talk about these books, I had to pick up A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And let me tell you, I loved them. Absolutely loved them. They very much reminded me of a grown-up Wicked Lovely, and the Wicked Lovely books were my favorite books in high school. Loved them to death, read them over and over and over and over again, and this is like a grown-up version of those, and I loved it so much, could not get enough of this book. But I had to take a little break between the first one and finishing the rest of the series because I had only ordered the first one before. I make a rule for myself not to purchase a whole series until I've read the first book and know I like it. So in between the first book and the rest of the series, I picked up The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. And this was a very good read. It flip-flops between present day and the past in such a beautiful way. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be rereading this for years to come because I think it was just such a beautiful book and the writing was amazing. I couldn't get enough of it. And then, like I mentioned, the rest of the ACOTAR books. So we have A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, and A Court of Frost and Starlight. So still loved these. I powered through reading all of them. I think each book I finished in about a day, day and a half. I could not stop until I had finished reading them. Next up we have Migrations by Charlotte McConney. I suck at pronouncing names, but I really liked this book. It was a very touching book, a look at just how to find yourself while also searching for other things to fulfill yourself. So, very good book. I really loved it, and I do recommend this one. Next up, we have a book that I had been waiting on, which was Harrow the Ninth by Tasmin Muir. I had read the first book in this series in 2020, end of 2020, so was just waiting for this one to be released, and it was well worth the wait. I really, really liked it. It definitely kept me guessing at times and wondering what was going on, but the end was very good. I really enjoyed it. Next up, we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. She's also the author of Shadow and Bone, and I really enjoyed this. I liked the Shadow and Bone first book, but like I said, I couldn't find the rest of the series. It keeps going out of stock everywhere. So I picked this one up because I noticed it was also by her, and it was more of an adult fiction book, and it was very, very good. Again, I really enjoyed the writing in this one. Then we have A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I was waiting for this one to be released. I'm a little sad that it's not in paperback. I might have to repurchase it in paperback so that it goes with the rest of them. But I loved this, and I loved getting to see a different character's perspective in this book. Then we have a book from a local author in my area, The Girl of Hawthorne and Glass by Aidan, Jarrett, Poole. I really liked this book. I'm currently reading the second one in this series and also really enjoying that one. I have to admit I was mostly drawn to the beautiful cover of this when one of my friends on Facebook posted a photo of it, but they really recommended the book, so I picked it up, and I have to say, I also really liked this book. Next up, we have The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. I found that this book was such a deep perspective on how we view girls' puberty and how we view girls growing up, and this was really, really good. It was mysterious at times and introspective, and it really made me think while I was reading it, which I really enjoyed. We have a couple more rereads now. We have Ender's Game and Speaker for the Dead by Orson Scott Card. I first read these in high school and had been thinking about them recently, so I actually finally purchased them for myself, reread them, and enjoyed them even more this time around because there was more things that I picked up and noticed. And then I also read Xenocide by Orson Scott Card. This was my first time reading this, and I still have 2 books to go in the series to read for the first time. And I enjoyed it. I liked the continuation of Ender's Game and seeing what is continuing to go on in that world. Then the final book that I read in 2021 was The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. I saw this in the thrift store and I thought that it sounded really good, so I picked it up and I really did enjoy this book. I think it is, again, one of the top ones I read this year. Those are all the books that I read in 2021. It was quite the list, so the total books I read comes out to 31 books. I had a goal to read 24, so I am very happy with where I managed to get to with books this year. And I have a lot of new authors that I'm wanting to buy more of their books now. Now that I've read some of their other books this year, I'm definitely keeping an eye out for more books. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. What was your top read of 2021? Please let me know in the comments. And what books do you recommend to me now that you've seen everything I read in 2021? What should I read in 2022? Do you have any recommendations for me? Please let me know so that I have more books to add to my to-be-read list. Although, it's getting a little long, so we'll see. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.